Rory, a lot of the things you were mentioning about expanding the demographics and kind of interactivity with players are a lot of the same things that we heard from LIV when they were starting up and trying to change golf and make it more, I don't know, golf but louder, I guess.
Louder, yeah.
Yeah. Why is this something you're excited about when that was something you were notably not excited about?
So, again, I think this is meant to be complementary. It's not meant to be disruptive in any way. So whenever Mike brought this idea to Tiger and I think one of the first things we said, well, if you're going to do this, we're going to have to try to partner with the PGA Tour in some way and really try to make this complementary. So I think that was the first thing. This wasn't adversarial at all. It was trying to, how can we be additive to the entire system? And I think when you look at, again, we're pretending to be competitive, and it's a different type of golf, but it's not the traditional golf that you see week in, week out. So, I don't want to sit here and talk about LIV, but I think you could make the argument that they haven't innovated enough away from what traditional golf is, or they've innovated too much that they're not traditional golf. They're sort of caught in no man's land, where this is so far removed from what we know golf to be. Or the league hired someone from that worked on the tour for the past couple of decades, Ross Berlin, who we all know really well. Everyone that's playing in the league has dealt with Ross and likes Ross, and he's the one that's really tried to overlay all of our schedules together and try to put together what makes sense in terms of the right schedule, the right cadence. Obviously, it's going to 4-person team, and 3 of those players on any given night will play. So, yeah, I mean, this is we're going to have to try to marry people potentially playing in Europe or in the Middle East at the start of the year, people playing on the West Coast or in Hawaii, and just trying to really try to figure that out. But we have a dedicated person in the league that is doing that for us. Yeah, so I think this is meant to be complementary. Look, we're not trying to replace traditional golf here. I think there's a place for everything, and I think it complements the traditional golf schedule. It's on a Monday night. It's we all start on a Thursday morning, so I think there's plenty of time, especially in that January, February, March window where we are playing in the southeast of the United States most of the time. Hopefully it shouldn't be too burdensome on the players to play in both. So yeah, I hope that everyone else shares the same excitement as I do. Whenever it was presented to me, whatever it is, 2.5, 3 years ago now, it took me a while to wrap my head around it. It's very different than what you conceive golf to be. But once we sort of dug down into the nitty-gritty details of it and trying to incorporate some different themes from other sports, we just announced today like shot clocks and timeouts and stuff like this, which I think is going to be really, really fun. And again, trying to tap into a sort of a casual sports fan that's used to seeing that sort of thing when they watched their respective sports. So yeah, did it take me a little bit of time to get my head around what we were doing? Absolutely. But once I did get my head around it, I was all in. I feel like I'm feeling a little more pressure to make sure that it goes right and everything goes well. But at the same time, we've got the 24 best players in the world that basically most of the 24 best players in the world that have signed up to this and are committed to making this work, not just alongside Tiger and myself, but everyone else, and FSG and the other ownership groups, and really trying to make this thing take off. Back to a previous question, I was just thinking about it there. Last year was the first time in golf where more golf shots were hit on non-green ground. So more golf shots were hit not on golf courses. So things like Topgolf and PopStroke, and there was more golf shots hit in those environments than there was on golf courses. So, as we're trying to bring the game into the 21st century, I think it's important that these sort of ventures happen. And because golf is such a traditional sport, trying to break that mold and trying to bring it into the 21st century, I think is pretty important.